Hey everyone, Drew Goldfarb from DGPicks.com here, looking at some of the earlier games that are getting started over on the East Coast for baseball for tonight. I'm going to look at Pittsburgh against Washington and Kansas City against Baltimore, because both of those they're starting a couple hours apart, but the Pirates and Nationals is the one that's going first. This has been a money line toss-up or thereabout essentially all day today. Right now, Washington a very slight money line favorite in this game as the odds just keep moving up and down. So the graphic here may show something different, but right now, this second, Pirates minus 106, Nationals minus 110, total runs line set to 8.5. Now, Washington, okay start to the year, 1-2. Pittsburgh 4-0. They had a big sweep in Miami to open their season. So interesting to see what happens here. But for me, this is a pitching matchup situation. Mackenzie Gore going for the Washington Nationals in that game this afternoon. His line on strikeouts set to 5.5. The over's only paying at minus 156. And there's a very good reason for that when you're looking at what Mackenzie Gore was able to accomplish last season in his first full season with the Washington Nationals in the bigs. 27 starts, 136 in the third innings, and 151 strikeouts. So basically, if he lasts 5 innings, he should get to 6 Ks. But for me, when I'm looking at those odds, minus 156 is not a super intriguing kind of wager. There are going to be other ways that you can go about doing it, things that you could do to build a better value play than doing something like that. So I'm going to do this one as we're basically talking here. So what I like to look at is if I just take Mackenzie Gore, I'm going to try and buy myself an extra strikeout worth of insurance and take him down to 5+ Ks. His line is 5.5. I want it at 5. On its own, minus 360 is the way that goes. What I'm going to look to do is to counter it with an offensive selection, either for the game itself or for the Pittsburgh Pirates, because that's going to drive up the payout with the Nationals starting pitcher. So you could do something like Brian Reynolds to pick up a hit. That would parlay at minus 129. If you were to go to O'Neal Cruz, it becomes plus 104. So decent value there. Also, if you want Henry Davis, plus 108. Andrew McCutchen right around that same marker at minus 105. So that's one way to do it. The other way is to take Mackenzie Gore for at least 5 strikeouts and look at a total runs line. And I'm looking at the alternate ones because, again, this is about buying a little insurance and trying to get a decent payout out of it. The lowest number that FanDuel's offering is over 6.5 total runs. That would make the parlay at minus 118. If you take it up to 7.5 total runs, it's plus 122. Mackenzie Gore for at least 5 strikeouts and over 6.5 or over 7.5 total runs. So that's a decent way to do it. You could also get very specific with it and go for the Pittsburgh Pirates for a few runs. If you take them over 2.5, it's minus 125. So maybe not the most intriguing there, but still a pretty decent option if you want to do it with a Pirates player for a hit or a game alternate totals line over. Basically about as low as you can go and still get that payout right around that even money mark is where I think that there's going to be some value in that. Baltimore Orioles starting a couple hours after the Nats later on this evening. So Dean Kramer and Michael Wacha going head-to-head in that one. The O's, as you would probably expect, a minus 158 money line favorite in this game. They're 2-1 to start the year. They did lose on Sunday in the third game of that series. They're going up against the Kansas City Royals, who are 1-2, coming off of a Sunday win in that game. So for me, there were a couple of things, again, to try and create some value. If you're looking at a run line option on Baltimore, you're getting above even money. That's good value because of the way that they've basically played. They've outscored their opponents 25-11 through 3 games, and they have a 2-1 record. So that when they win, they usually win big, at least so far. Very small sample size. But they had a very good offense last year as well, and Kansas City, with where they're at and what you would probably expect them to do for the year, given that they lost 106 games last season, I think those are really decent options. The other one is to basically take 2 offensive players and combine them for at least 1 hit apiece, because I'm not crazy about the strikeout props in either pitcher. Santander and Gunnar Henderson for at least 1 hit apiece pays at minus 108. So with Michael Wacha on the mound, and you're looking at what he is going to do, and where you really want to do the comparison, something like this, is to look at how Baltimore batters do against right-handed pitching, because Michael Wacha is a righty. So when you're looking at that, that's how I came to picking out Gunnar Henderson and Anthony Santander. If you want to go for the 2 or more total bases route, there are a couple players that you could get for 2 or more on their own. That's going to be right around the even money mark. Bobby Witt Jr. minus 110. Same with Gunnar Henderson. Everybody else above even money. So if I'm looking at Anthony Santander, he's plus 120 to get at least 2 total bases. And I'm going to pull this up really quick so I can give you the exact statistics. But last year, if you look at his splits, his righty-lefty splits, against right-handed pitching, his batting average went up by 10 points. His slugging percentage went up by 45. So he had 29 doubles, a triple, and 23 home runs. So 53 of his 116 hits off of right-handed pitching last year went for extra bases. So that's essentially 50% of the time, if he paid out on the to get a hit prop bet, he also paid out on the 2 or more total bases prop bet. And that doesn't even factor in multi-hit games. Because anytime you had a multi-hit game last year, obviously that's at least 2 total bases. If you have 2 singles, that's 2 bases. So that's how I'm looking at it for that. Make sure you sign up at dgpicks.com for a free trial. I'm going to be talking more hockey a little bit later on, maybe talk a little bit more baseball as well. I talk about these games throughout the week, some good betting tips, some strategy talk. We're going to be there, dgpicks.com. Begin your free 7-day trial, and I will see you in just a bit.